Hey everyone, I'm Kelly Danger, also known as Kandell Cosplay. Today we're going to talk about resin basics, so we'll cover the supplies you'll need, how to mix, and how to pour and cure resin. Let's head to the garage. Epoxy resin is ideal for smaller casts like gems, so we're just going to do some small casts today just to get you guys used to it, so that's perfectly fine. Easy Cast clear epoxy resin is available in most craft and hobby stores, so it's pretty easy to find. Some supplies you'll need before you start are obviously resin. You'll also need your mixing supplies, a mold as well as mold release, a well-ventilated workspace, and a drop cloth, tarp, or paper towels to protect your workspace. Since I'm working in a garage and this is, a workspace that is okay to spill resin on, I'm not protecting it right now, but if I were to do this like in my house, I definitely would. Some optional supplies are dyes, pigment powders, LEDs, charms, cellophane, glitter, and sandpaper, and an acrylic clear coat or varnish, but those are for another video. Before mixing resin, select your mold and condition it with mold release. So I'm using a mold release by Casting Craft, and for this stuff, all you have to do is do a couple sprays in your mold and let it dry. This is the one we'll be using, and it's already been conditioned. So, to mix resin, you'll need bowls or cups that are preferably disposable or dedicated to mixing resin. I like Casting Craft's reusable mixing cups because they have measurement lines, so it's really easy to pour your resin and make sure you have equal parts. And for mixing, popsicle sticks are perfect, and they're cheap and easy to find everywhere. So when you're mixing resin, you always want to follow the manufacturer's recipe. For Easy Cast epoxy, it's a simple 1 ounce of resin to 1 ounce of hardener. So I always like to add the resin first, because if you're going to end up with slightly different amounts, it's best to have more hardener than more resin. So when you follow the manufacturer's recipe, you'll notice that they do give you a minimum. So with Easy Cast, it's 1 ounce to 1 ounce. Don't ever try to mix under the minimum that they give you. I've tried to mix ½ ounce to ½ ounce before, and you end up with resin that isn't going to completely cure, and that is the last thing that you want. Now that our resin is measured, it's time to mix. As you start to mix, the resin will turn cloudy. You want to continue mixing until that's turned clear again. The slower you mix, the less likely you are to create air bubbles, and the fewer air bubbles, the better, unless that's the effect that you want in your final cast. Once the resin is thoroughly mixed, it's time to pour it into the mold. Pouring slowly will help prevent any more air bubbles from forming, and it will help remove some of the air bubbles that are there right now. So just pour nice and slow, take your time. The key to a really good resin cast is patience. Once your resin is poured, it's time to cure. The actual curing time will depend on the size of the cast and the temperature of the environment, but I found that most gems will cure in about 24 hours. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments or feel free to send me a message at my Facebook page or email. Until next time, I'm Kelly Danger, also known as Kandell Cosplay. Happy crafting!